What are 5 small changes for enhancing your classroom with project-based learning? You can connect your content to a real world by simply answering this question. So number 1 is, how is this used in the real world? It's the question all of your learners are going to ask. They're asking it inside, they ask it outwardly, and we get a little huffy and say, well, because you'll need it in high school, of course. But is that a real answer? Like, where does this come in the real world? Your learners want to know, and I think actually not only they deserve it, but I think you're the best person to give it to them because you're the connection. You're their connection between the real world and your content. So even in a traditional classroom, if you want to make some shifts, some enhancement towards project-based learning, figure out why and where your content connects to the real world. Number 2, the second way that you can make an enhancement to your classroom to bring project-based learning in is to bring experts into your classroom to talk about a lesson. Now again, in this case, for this video, it's not about going full-blown project-based learning, it's how can you make some small shifts. So if you have a lesson that's going to be around first responders, you can bring a first responder in to talk about that lesson. If you have a lesson about a particular history topic, you can bring someone from the local historical society to come in and talk about that particular lesson. It gives you some training in getting community partners to come in. It gets your learners used to community partners coming in. You can see how they react. You're going to find out that they tend to lean in and step up to the occasion, and you want to bring them in more. So number 2, bring in experts. Number 3, create opportunities for students to work together. Now this could be a simple STEM challenge, it could be some team building exercises, it could be some icebreakers, but finding ways for them to work together so they can get used to this process being a part of your classroom. You can get used to the process being a part of your classroom before you commit to 4 weeks of a PBL unit working in teams. Number 4, incorporate student voice and choice throughout your classroom in everyday decision making. So if you have a decision that's going to impact your classroom or the school or a particular day, ask your learners about it. What do they think? Give them some voice and choice. Say, hey, what are some things that you really like about our classroom procedures? What are some things you would change? And really thank them for things that they like. Say, oh, I didn't know that you liked that. That's so great. We'll do more of that. And then find one of those things that they want to change. You don't have to do them all. That's always our fears. Well, they'll want to have, donuts and pajamas and bean bags everywhere. Well, you don't have to do them all, but pick one. Pick one and give them some voice and choice in their situation. Number 5, teach students how to effectively research with high quality resources. So you can pick the resources, you can create some fences around the resources that they go to, but help them learn how to research on their own. And we're going to give you a bonus point here if they get to engage in inquiry by researching their own questions. So when your learners have a question, sometimes that question that comes up in the middle of class that doesn't really relate to anything you're talking about, instead of just kind of pushing it to the side, say, great, thank you for that question, and post it up on your inquiry board. And then later, you can have that student, or maybe multiple students, research that topic. So number 5 is to teach your students how to effectively research using high quality resources. What's a great resource, what's not? So that's 5 small changes for enhancing your classroom with project-based learning. And if you want 5 more small changes for enhancing your classroom with PBL, click the video below.